Hey, thanks a bunch. We made the goal of 3,000 subs, and so for that, we're going to have a 3K sub giveaway. I love how they say goal in soccer games. It just goes on forever. Goal! There's some vibrato in it. I love it. But we're going to start with a comment from, who was it? James Stamos? Now, wait a minute, because James Stamos is an actor. This is James Amos. So close, but not quite. He disagrees. Well, he doesn't disagree, but he made some good comments about the last Black Star video I did. And he made the points that the Black Star head comes with a 2 notes box and a load box. Or not 2 notes, because that's, proprietary. But it comes with the same kind of thing. A cab simulation and a load box, which for me and what I do is meaningless, but for you or the recording artist, that might be a big deal. And he pointed out that those things, and I know the 2 notes deal is about $1,000. And so if the amp comes with that and the cab simulation is good, then that helps with the high price point that I thought was a little bit high. So I really appreciate that, James, for pointing that out. That's a good word right there. That helps with the price point. But it was a quick hip from the hip shoot, a hip shot review of the Black Star, because overall I was just a little let down again, because I keep hoping Black Star will do something with a more, in my opinion, legitimate preamp stage that makes it a real full-on tube amp. I've seen the push-pull pair of transistors inside the Black Stars. And I'm a huge Black Star fan. I've had the 20, I've had the 50, I've had the HT5, and then I own the HT5, but the MK2, which is a really great amp. But my qualm, or my issue with the Black Stars, is as the volume gets higher, the difference becomes more apparent between, say, an Engel or a Mesa or even a Marshall. As the volume gets up there, the difference becomes more apparent. But I'm, Black Star fan. I'm not trying to diss the head. I just thought it was overpriced for what it is. But James makes some really good points with that stuff being included. Go for it. It's a great sounding amp. So now the giveaway today is not so much of a guitar or an amp, but a really killer idea. Now, I've chased this down. This is a removable string guide, okay? So anybody with a guitar that has a string guide on it, like an EVH or an Ibanez or something like that, if you could just remove this easily for string changes, how much easier would your life be? You pop this off once the string tension is released. You deal with your string changes, and then with a little tension on all the strings, you just put that back under the screws, and then you tighten up and lock it down. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, that's night and day difference in the headache of having to make string changes. One of the biggest problems I had was getting the string under the string retainer and getting it up before it scratched the finish on my guitar. So it was always a two-hand process with each string as I restrung a guitar. Sometimes I even used needle nose to grab the tip of it before it hit the finish. With this being removable, it's just, gosh, so easy. You do your strings, leave a little tension on, put that back on, tighten it up, and you're done. All right. So how cool is that? So this is the giveaway. The coolest idea ever. Now, I've looked into, I still own the idea, so don't go nuts on me, but I'll even give one of these away to the first person who IMs me on Facebook or something. And it's super easy to make. That's another issue I had. The design patent was $8,000. Actually, the design patent was a little bit less. The utility patent is what covers the idea, more or less, and it was $8,000. Now, the cost of making this in the U.S. is about $8 per piece. So if I tack on $4, that's $12 for a removable string guide. StewMac offers string guides for $5. Amazon, $6 to $10, depending on the finish and whatnot. So I'm really struggling with having to make a website and trying to sell these outright. Starting to think I'd rather just sell the idea. But because I don't think there's enough free stuff in the world, I wanted to give it to my subscribers for free. The idea is still mine, but I wanted to let you guys in on the deal. Now, to make one of these, all you need is a Dremel. Hacksaw blade won't quite work because you got to go side to side a little bit. A cutoff blade is just about right, except with a cutoff, like a pneumatic cutoff wheel, you can't go side to side. They're just cutting in one direction. So for this, you need a Dremel tool, and you make your cut, and then you just got to make sure you wiggle back and forth until you are even with the smallest diameter on the retainer. The large diameter is what secures to the heads of the screws, and you want to maintain that so it locks in. Now, I've got this on my EVH Wolfgang. I've got this on my, what else? Oh, my Charvel. And that's about it here, which brings me to the other issue. They're different on ESPs versus Ibanez versus Fender. So I had a universal design that allowed you to slide in and then clip to a screw. But the machinist I was talking to said that's a lot of machine labor and it's complicated. It's going to cost you a lot. You're better off just making two different versions, a wide and a narrow. And so, great advice. Go talk to somebody that knows about what they're talking about, has knowledge in regard to what you're questioning. And so really good advice. But then again, the Ibanez is different from the Wolfgang, and the Wolfgang is different from the ESP. So how do you decide, what am I going to do? Make 3 different versions of this? You could, or you could maybe sell the idea to StewMac or something like that. So different sizes, different versions. Even the EVH even uses a different screw than the Ibanez. The Ibanez screw has a larger diameter. The EVH screw has just a little smaller diameter and smaller head. So a little different beast. But overall, the idea is to just get the thing removable, all right? So get out in the garage, have yourself a day of it, get your Dremel out, and you're going to cut in and then just a little wiggle side to side until you clear the diameter of those screws. Okay? You're going to love me for it, and you're welcome. Now, the other thing we're doing new these days is the GHS Angry Charlie Overdrive. Just picked one of these up because it's kind of a famous overdrive. If you watch that pedal show at all, this is a standard on their pedal boards. Now, this comes from and now I just forgot. The rock machine, the brake machine, the rock, anyway, this is based off another pedal The crunch pedal, the crunch machine, something like that, which I owned at one time. It has a lot of dials and a lot of switches on it, which is a little kind of optional overload. But this is derived from that pedal, and this is great. I'm really liking it. The tones you got earlier were with the Mesa Flux Drive. Again, if you haven't got a Flux Drive, get one. You'll love it. That was stacked into this JHS Angry Charlie, and then right into the tweaker, and just been playing this for a couple days. Great little amp, really great pedal platform. It's a very honest amp. Love that thing, and they used to be about $225. Lately, the price on everything has gone up, so about $300. But the Ignator tweaker is something you should add to your collection. And then on the other side of that was the vintage series Les Paul, which if you're new to the channel, I have this up against a actual Epiphone gold top, and I put them in the room together, and I ended up liking this Les Paul copy, which the Epiphone is a Les Paul copy as well. But I ended up liking this much better. Form and fit wasn't quite as good as the Epiphone, but the tone on this was just dynamite. All right, so that's the show for today. 3,000 subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll stay in this a little bit. I think we're going to slack off on the content somewhat. But it was nice to hit that 3K goal, and I want everybody to enjoy their summer. So go out there, make yourself one of these. Hit me up with any other questions. Thank you, James, for the comments on the Black Star stuff. And if you're looking for a new Overdrive, even though this is old, I would recommend grabbing up one of these. And if you haven't got the Mesa Flux Drive yet, by gosh, go out and get one. All right? Hey, Old Guy Jammin' is out. More stuff coming up.